I think for the league, I think many of us felt a 1 through 16 playoff made more sense, and maybe there's also the potential, it's in some ways a separate issue, should you reseed after every round, as some leagues do. I think those are things we'll continue to look at, but it's not at the top of the agenda right now.
That was Commissioner Adam Silver earlier this week talking about the potential for realigning conferences has come up a lot lately, of course. He's referring there to the discussions 2 years ago among the Board of Governors, but it's really they've been having it ever since, right? Challenges of cross-country travel, time difference, stuff like that, into conference changes. You were at this presser. Do you get the feel that they're even close to doing this? Do you think they should be doing this?
One thing about Adam Silver that I do know is he's very good at looking ahead, way ahead, several steps of what's going to happen, what's best for the league. The fact that he said that 2 years ago they examined this means that they're probably a little bit, closer than maybe people would think. I don't think they're, it's not at the top of the agenda, but it's something that they've considered. So it's definitely on their radar. But in order to do, let's say, a 1 through 16 tournament, Adam said you have to also have the conferences realigned, because it's not fair to have the Western teams play against each other more than they're playing the East teams, and then you seed based on that.
On the
so
records,
somebody in the East is beating up on all the lower teams in the East,
or elevated records.
So you probably have to have both those things together. I'm a traditional guy. I like seeing the conference stay together. I like seeing the way it is, because I just think it would be so weird to see a realignment and a 1 through 16 seed. It would be exciting. Right. But I just like having the Eastern and Western Conference.
No, we talked about, if you look at, if we did this playoffs 1 through 16, the Warriors would have started their playoff playing Chicago.
Well, if you want to go there, let's go there. Here's a look at what the brackets would look like if we seeded the top 16 from this season. It's important to point out, and this goes to what Ohm was just saying about the conferences. If you took their records from when they did play in conferences and then just reseeded for the playoffs, which is what some people have suggested, the idea would be that, hey, these West teams played each other all season, they beat up on each other, and then look, you actually don't have any difference in what the playoff team would be. These are the same exact teams that actually made the playoffs. Even though we're taking 1 through 16 instead of the best 8 in each conference, it's not like the West is 10 and the East is 6 or something like that, because they're beating up on their own conference all season. So you'd have to change everything.
But the point I was trying to make was the idea that, let's say you realign, right? Let's leave this year out of it. Let's say we do
but there was your Warriors-Bulls thing.
And we're saying we're doing this because there's so many weak East teams that get in, and all the tough West teams are getting left out, right? Okay. You're asking the Warriors probably to go travel all the way to the East Coast to play a team, then come back, then the winner of the 8-9 matchup, which may or may not be another East Coast team, and then come. That's a lot of travel for the best team in the league. I'm supposed to have the easiest schedule. I'm supposed to do the least amount of kind of long cross-country travel. And we talked all the time about rest and
I was going to say, this goes contrary to the way the league is going. It's funny, when you said maybe you thought we're closer than we ever were, I listened to that soundbite and I was like, no. He's just basically, he's doing his sort of service to the fans, saying, hey, we are considering it. And I think that's genuine. I think they do really consider things that become a wave of attention here among their fan base. But I just don't see with the direction they're going with player rest to say we're going to add 4 or 5 hours to these guys' travel 3 or 4 times a week.
I just think that the fact that it rose to that level where they actually studied the numbers and they discussed it at the Board of Governors, and that, he's still kind of thinking about it,
Two fixes you can do. One is there's a conversation we have about conference realignment. Maybe some teams that are in the East need to come West, some of the West teams need to go East.
Right.
That's one thing. Second thing is, this is something they've done in the D-League. Pick your opponent in the playoffs. The Warriors should have the right to say, I want to play them. Bring them to me. Bring those Clippers to me. Bring whoever to me. Same thing in the East. The Cavs should be able, or I guess the Celtics should have been able to say, no, we don't want to play Chicago. We want to play, Toronto or whoever the 7th seed was. It wasn't Toronto. Who did Cleveland play in the first round? Doesn't matter.
That's like anarchy.
No, but the idea that the top team gets to pick whoever they want, and then the next best team gets to pick the next best team in their conference, obviously, that has made the playoffs.
That sounds radical, man.
They've done it in the D-League.
They've done it, but I don't know how popular that idea is.
Why wouldn't it be popular?
I don't know. I'm saying we'll see. I'm all for creative tinkering.
It's almost WWE-like.
No, but because here's my thing. Remember the year the Knicks made the playoffs with the big run at the end of, and they went to the finals, right?
99. Yeah, I covered that too.
If you were the #1 seed, the Miami Heat that year, Why would you ever want to play the Knicks? You'd want to play the next best team who wasn't actually good.
Yeah, but isn't the point of early round matchups that they're not all just easy? I mean, you would want some of these early round matchups to be, it is going to be hard for us.
But there's a pride factor there. Like, ooh, they picked us? All right, bring it on.
No, I don't think that that's enough to make a clearly inferior team not stink.